Gonna say. What's going on, people? Welcome to United View, back at UVHQ for your latest Man United transfer news. We say no, up nice, bright and early in UVHQ in person.
Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. It always reminds me of like Basil Brush. I don't really get the bushy-tailed thing. That's got to become some kind of reference to some kind of animal.
Has to be.
You know what, Flex? I just realised, because I did this the other day when we said we were going to keep it short and sweet. When the intros, I always go down a rabbit hole that just ends up somewhere else. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, let's talk about Manchester United.
Yeah, you never just go straight in, ever. Like, you just don't have the capacity to
I've been spending too much time around KG. He gets really easily distracted, and that happens to me also.
100%. Big up to everyone watching. It's an exciting day today. It's an exciting day, and it's ahead of an exciting week. I'm going to put it out there. Ooh. I'm trying to just, raise it. Ten Hag takes his first training session properly. The players are going to be in. Yeah. We've seen McLaren pulling up in the car. Ten Hag with his arms folded, just on his way into work, doing his job. We've seen that.
Yeah, I will. When I've been seeing those pictures already this morning, it must be said that whilst I understand it, Ten Hag arriving, McLaren arriving, and maybe it's just the side of bed that I've rolled out of this morning, Flex. But to be honest, it is their job.
Yeah.
It is their job. I mean, when can we start to have the same thing here? When can we have paparazzi shooting us of going,
just getting it.
Flex has arrived at the studio for work.
And he's still 6 minutes late.
Exactly. Be here with the watch going, go live.
So we have got to talk about that. We've got to talk, and more seriously, what people actually do want to talk about is now or never. Now or never for quite a few deals. And now or never might be even though it's not this week, it still could be next or the following week. But the De Jong situation is entering the final stages. I said, didn't I? I thought by Tuesday we'd get fee agreed. It pretty much looks like that's there now already.
Yeah.
We said when the first started, I think was it the Times or someone went with it quite quick, and we said, oh no, it was a foreign. It was someone in Barcelona that had quite a big following and stuff, and we said, let's wait to see what happens domestically.
Dario Sport, that was it.
There you go. And that was a few days ago. And we said, let's see in the next couple of days. You then got, I think, the United reporter for Athletic, James, he started saying it. Simon Stone started saying it. Telegraph puts up. Yeah, we're there. So we've got to talk about that. And then we talk about Fabrizio Romano basically giving us an update saying, important week here for Antony and Martinez, because new bids are expected for those players. That includes Arsenal as well. Simon Stone woke up and said, right, I'm ready. Let me just spill the beans on some stuff. He had a lot to say about Ralph Rangnick and the fallout with John Murtough as well. So we've got to talk about that. Also spoke about Ronaldo captaincy issues from last year and why the club was the team was so fractious as well. So there's loads to get into. So De Jong final stages. Let's go.
Yes. So as you just mentioned there, Flex, obviously last week we were talking about reports, outlets based in Spain, talking about being in the end game when it came to Frenkie de Jong, possibly a fee being close to being agreed, or the hope that this would be done within the next week or so. As Flex just mentions, domestically, we're now hearing the same kind of things. So Ian Whittle from The Times is saying that Erik ten Hag wants Manchester United to have signed Frenkie de Jong by the end of this week. Both clubs expect the deal to be completed before Thursday, which of course is June 30, which we know because that's an important date. It's been spoken about several times from several people. Semra Hunter was on the channel, of course, last week saying that June 30 day is really important when it comes to the financial fair play, the restrictions when it comes to La Liga as well. So that deal, Ten Hag, Barcelona, Man United, we're all moving in the same direction here, and the hope is that it'll be completed before the end of the month. Now, to continue this, Manchester United have discussed a basic £55 million fee with Barcelona for Frenkie de Jong, with bonuses up to around £68 million. Discussions are progressing. Now, what is quite interesting about this, Flex, is that this number, I don't know if anyone can really pin it down, because at one point we're hearing 80 million euros, 85 million euros, but now we're also hearing, well, actually up front it might just be 55 million quid, which, this is the interesting question. Considering that number could rise to 68, if we sign Frenkie de Jong by Thursday and the initial fee is 55 million,
it's a bargain.
That's not bad business.
No.
Is it not? And I know people will be like, oh, it took too long. And I would agree, it has taken a long time. But if the end goal was 55 million up front.
Well, I think the reason why they were taking so long was because it was whatever was guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we'll give you this, but you might get this on performance base, or you might get that. I think the real sticking point obviously was agreeing what Frenkie de Jong's worth, but what is it guaranteed to be? So it's rising to, 65 million pounds guaranteed over 3 years, but the upfront payment is 50 or 50. You get 55 now today. We transfer it over to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Bank transfer straight away.
Even that though,
it's a lot of
an
money.
overall package that rise to 68 million.
Yeah.
That still is good money.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Exactly.
If that's accurate. But it must be stressed here that we could hear something come out today, or when the deal is eventually done, which I do think it will be, comes out, goes, actually no, it's 85 million euros. Boom.
Exactly.
It could, and we just don't know. That's my point.
And that's what I'm saying. This bit of news, we're not actually going to spend that long on Frenkie de Jong today, because you don't want to regurgitate the same stuff. But I think it's just important to highlight that it really is in the end game. The disputes that are going on between loads of outlets, because nobody's come to the forefront, i.e. an Ornstein or a Romano, and said terms agreed, breakdown of the salary, breakdown of the payments. Nobody's done that yet, because I don't think anybody knows.
No.
So that bit is been held close to the chest of Barcelona and Manchester United. But as soon as we get that, then we know it's done. I think it's clear that Frenkie de Jong wants to come. All of that stuff of why we're still trying to convince him or he doesn't want to come. We said once the club tells you we have to sell you, unless Frenkie de Jong was going to do that thing of, like a player who just says, well, I don't care. Like,
Wolf of Wall
say
Street settings.
Gareth Bale.
Say
you done a Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah.
Didn't want to swear that early, but do you know what I mean? If he did that, then cool. But is Frenkie de Jong going to do that at 24 years of age with his whole career ahead of him? Seems like a decent lad.
And also as well, there is an extra financial layer to this if he were to do that. Gareth Bale at Real Madrid, whilst he was costing the club a lot of money, he wasn't potentially throwing them into financial distribution.
Exactly, they got to get
killing
rid.
the club. So I'm not sure he would be willing to do that. But what is interesting about the whole Frenkie de Jong thing, and this kind of comes into the Simon Stone situation of him this morning, like you said, Simon Stone woke up this morning and Bruce Almighty settings was like this, all over that, and smoke was coming off his fingers because he revealed a lot of things. It is a great scene. And he said that the alternatives to Frenkie de Jong, it has been established by Manchester United, simply do not fit the template or are not good enough. And that kind of fits into this whole now or never kind of discussion we're having, is that it would appear the reason why we've waited so long, the reason why we've taken so long for Frenkie de Jong is basically they had a look around and went, no one else is good enough, or no one else fits into how we want to play. And that really feels like it comes from Erik ten Hag, does it not?
100%.
Of possibly at some point discussions were, Eric, this is quite complicated to do. We could do one maybe a little bit quicker. What about this player? And Eric's gone, no.
100%.
What about this person? No, not good enough. What about this person? No, doesn't fit the way I want to play. And that's how it feels like, doesn't it? They go, no, it's Frenkie. That's who I want.
It's Frenkie or no one.
Yeah.
Obviously we'd have to get someone, but that's actually quite worrying, but refreshing at the same time. And I'm only saying it's refreshing because we're about to get him. Do you know what I mean? If we weren't at this, if we would have heard that 3 weeks ago when Frenkie de Jong was still like, I'm at the best club in Europe. It would be like, fucking hell, we're in big trouble. But that just backs up the point of where we were saying, when we were really angry about this deal, a lot of people were, to the point where KG even said I was angry. I said, I don't want him. I don't want him anymore. And I was like, but what if Ten Hag said, I don't care how long it takes, even if it goes to deadline day, get me him.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone. I don't even want you to try and go and get Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
I don't want you to try and go and get Sangaré. I don't want you to try and get whoever else, Tchouaméni. I'm not saying that has been the case. I mean, those players are rubbish. We don't need them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it clearly has been the strategy, and it clearly has been the thing from Erik ten Hag to say, I need Frenkie de Jong. I don't want any. Get me my number one target, and then I'll look at what budget is left. Even if you have to use a little bit more than we anticipated, but keep going back and forth. I don't care. I want him. Yeah. And that's what it looks like is coming, especially when we're hearing things like, they've looked at other alternatives. They're all deemed as not good enough. They're all deemed as not what Frenkie can bring. Yeah. So
pressure that is, because there was pressure because of how long the deal was taking. There's pressure when it comes to the transfer fee, irrespective, I guess, of what it is. But because there is so much scrutiny on this deal, because it's taken so much time to do this deal, And because basically our transfer plans are centered around Frenkie de Jong. Because if it's a slow start or people are uncertain, people will be saying, it took so long about this deal, and Eric Ten Hag was so insistent on this deal, this is the player, this is the guy, this is the guy. What a show of faith, let's be honest, from the manager. But also, there's a lot riding on him. But maybe that's what it takes to convince him. How do you convince a player that really initially didn't want to come? You convince him by saying, it's just you. You're the one we want, and we will take as long as it takes. We will spend as much as it takes. We want you.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the charm offensive necessary to bring him into the club.
100%. Not going to move on in just a little bit, but I just want to take some comments. Bobby says, love the studio. Big up, Bobby. Thank you. Appreciate that. And let's get some of the super chats read out. Super chat here from Prane. Says, Simon will ask the most useless questions during the press conferences and then wants to talk about all the negative things at the start of an important period. I think that important period, yeah. People do say that Simon Stone doesn't ask the best questions. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm not an impression guy. You know me. But my impression of Simon Stone in the press conferences is he will ask, go, Simon Stone, BBC Sport, and I go, Ralph, United, they're not really, playing well at the moment. Why do you think that is? Like everything's a strain to get out. He's so frustrated that the words just won't come out. Why? Why?
It's just his style, isn't it? His style's just a bit. It's just how, yeah. It's just his style, isn't it? It's just his style. I think a lot of media, especially old school media, they're not used to vocalizing as well. Like in terms of, they're print media, aren't they? They're right. I've got all my information. Let me go and type it up. I'm good with words. I can, form up my paragraphs really well, punctuation, etc. But actually doing the human element of it isn't always a lot of their strengths. They just talk in different ways, and he definitely does talk like that.
Yeah.
Dara says, sorry for the negativity, but Frenkie de Jong to join, huge wages, and walk away on a free at the end of contract back to Barca. Would still want him though. Wow, that is a lot of negativity. That's just basically predicting that he's going to join on huge wages, and at the end of it, we're going to mismanage him and let him go back to Barca for free.
It'd be interesting to see how long his contract would be at United. Has that even been put out there? I don't think it has.
Not yet, no.
So, I mean, we could be looking at...
You've got to give him a 4 year with an
4
extension.
or 5, I'd be looking at this. Pogba's was 5 in a year? You'd probably be looking at the same amount, let's be honest.
For all of this,
yeah.
I need
If he
5.
comes in, they go, it's a 3-year deal, you'd be like...
Yeah, I would say a safe bet is probably 4 with an option to add.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If they really want to go big and he really is the guy, if we get 5 and an option, Jesus, that's big.
It depends what he wants to commit to as well, let's be honest.
He might say, just give me 3 with an extra year. When we'll have to take it. Big up Manzir, my brother. Always showing love to the channel, always showing love to me on a personal. Great guy, great United fan, really knows his stuff, really passionate, and a really good friend of mine as well. Thank you for the super chat, bro. I'll message you later, actually. We'll catch up. Big up to you. And Eric Ten Hag is in the chat. Eric Ten Hag says, I want to bring up the humanitarian issue regarding United signing Eriksen. I think it's inhumane to bring in someone with a pacemaker to all that stress and shit show. Thoughts? Do you know what? Let's take that on a serious note. Because KG, I was talking to KG about this yesterday.
Yeah.
And when I first brought up the Eriksen thing, way before it was even like a thing, I was like, we should go and get him. He's free.
Yeah.
KG was like, look what he's been through. How can you do that? I actually think that's a big disservice to Christian Eriksen. I think with what he's been through, to come through that on the other end and want to be back in professional football, not as the token. Look at the story. Wow, he lived to kick a ball again.
Yeah.
That was when it started. When we knew he survived.
Yeah.
And there was a pathway back to football.
Yeah.
Great, but I think because he's come back, played in the flipping Premier League, scoring goals against Chelsea, getting big wins, controlling the play, back in the national team, scoring goals, and saying, "Yeah, I want to leave Brentford. I want to challenge."
Yeah.
The man deserves us to remember him and treat him as a top-level footballer.
Yeah, I think also as well. I mean, you can, slightly in jest, of course, of that kind of stuff, but obviously he's been through an unbelievable amount of rigorous testing, and obviously, all of these 100%. People and all that kind of stuff. And also, like you said, I think sometimes we do almost forget, like, legitimately what happened. Like he was dead. He died. And if this were me, Like, you'd be terrified just to run
Oh,
again.
my
It'll
God.
get you, all that kind of
What
stuff.
a mindset.
So not only to be playing sport, let alone to be playing, just doing exercise, but also to be an elite sportsman.
Unbelievable.
Going to a World Cup in the Premier League, the best league in the world, as they say, or the most competitive league in the world, and the fast-paced nature of the Premier League. I know he couldn't stay in Italy, but that's a slower league. It's a slower pace
100%.
of football. And him coming back to the highest level at a smaller club and still being a big fish in a small pond, it's unbelievable.
I would
think
say
about
this.
comeback stories. How many are like that?
Unbelievable. Literally back from the dead. I would say this. I would argue that somebody who's gone through that and shows the minerals to come back and play at the highest level. I know we're not in the Champions League, but let's just call it the highest level.
Yeah.
That's exactly the type of person I want at my club.
Yeah.
Like you think of mentality in somebody who gets it, somebody who will be thankful I think he's like one of the model pros anyway. I could see him always looking after himself, always training in the right way, being a team player, etc.
Yeah.
But if you think about how you can inspire a dressing room when you might have some youngsters maybe feeling sorry for themselves walking in, or even senior pros feeling a bit down after a couple of results. Imagine you've got Eriksen in there. Say, not that he would have to say it, but you look across to your left and go, this guy came back from death.
Yeah.
And he's here, putting it in, smiling every day. And not only that, playing flipping well, and he's in the rondos, and I can't get the ball off him.
And people there are big clubs, I mean, we can laugh saying, oh, he's considering Brentford over United, and that's fair. But he's still subject. Again, it was basically a year ago that happened to him, was it not? Or 2 years ago? Yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, it was in a
year ago. And he's got a year later, he's got clubs chasing him.
I don't think it is a year.
I don't think so. Yeah, exactly. So he's got, that was like July or something.
Oh, yeah, June, July. So, yeah.
So, and he's got clubs chasing him.
Yeah.
Big clubs chasing him. Premier League clubs chasing his signature a year later.
There you go.
That's unbelievable.
So I think that answers it, Dara. Like, that's how we feel about it. I just think it's a model professional, and somebody who's been through that. I think, one, he deserves our respect, and to not even question that. Is it right for him? Should we be Eriksen and his family have sat down and worked out what's best for Christian Eriksen and his family. Hence, even if he doesn't decide to join Man United, it isn't just because we're not better than Brentford. There'll be more to it than that. It's with what he's been through. So there you go. Dara Kennedy as well. Not only the super chat, but Dara Kennedy didn't actually put that super chat. That was Eric Ten Hag.
Yes.
But Dara Kennedy also is the latest member of the United View Members Club.
There you go. A UVMC.
100%. And Death by Stereo says at least De Jong ain't gonna down tools on Eric Ten Hag. Facts. I can't see that happening. It seems like a really good model pro as well. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you guys are new. We're going to move it on now. Antony and Martinez bids incoming. Fabrizio Romano had a little bit to say about this, and other outlets as well.
Yes, Fabrizio Romano said that it's an important week for Ajax, which in turn, I guess, means it's an important week for Manchester United because we're so closely linked at this point. Not just because we've got the former manager, because we want to buy half the team, probably. He said that new direct talks are taking place for Steven Bergwijn as their main target. So they're working with Tottenham to open discussions for that deal. They're also looking to sign Owen Wendell. But the key thing when it pertains to Manchester United here is that new approaches are expected for both Antony and Lisandro Martinez. Now, it doesn't actually say who those approaches are from. Antony, one would assume that's us. Martinez, one would assume that's us, but also Arsenal as well, most
100%.
likely. I believe they've
back.
already done an approach.
They've done more than that. We have. They've actually had a
Exactly.
bid turned down, so they're further ahead.
And they've signed players at this point, so one would assume that they've just done Gabriel Jesus. They've done their other transfers as well, Vieira. This might be their sort of prime focus now, would it not? This might be their focus of, okay, we've done this, now we want to get Martinez. United should be, I think, aware that, okay, we're still focusing on this De Jong deal, and if we sort of dilly-dally a lot on this Martinez deal, like, Arsenal will come in and do it quickly, because again, their priorities have shifted now. So it's a big week for that. I mean,
Arsenal
Romano
ruthless.
Right.
Arsenal ain't playing about. If they've already had a bid reject, let's just do Martinez for the start, because I think from a Man United perspective, we haven't had anything strong on him, i.e. bids there. It's been internally appreciated.
The par for the course, the interested, he's on the list.
He's on the list, and Ten Hag definitely likes him. And I think the Jurriën Timber situation propelled us towards that because he's not leaving.
Yeah.
And we missed out on him. But Antony's definitely the strongest. But if we just talk about the Martinez situation, Arsenal are ahead of us for that deal. When I saw that Arsenal had put in a bid, I wasn't worried at the start because I still thought maybe Timber, what's going on?
Yeah.
But then now I saw our names in the hat for Martinez. It's fair game. And if you look at what Arsenal are doing, forget the rivalry, forget the online banter and the social media derby, they are efficient.
Yeah.
They've just got Jesus over the line.
And their focus is going to be Martinez at this point. Because I don't know who else they're going to be in for. They might be in for other players as well. But we know that our main focus at the moment is Frenkie de Jong.
Yeah.
We're not really doing that, Martinez. That we're interested. Yeah. Maybe there's been some conversations, Hal, but
Anthony's higher as well.
But that's not our focus. And my point is that Arsenal's focus probably is him now. Because they've done everything else.
Exactly.
And I'm just... Can we compete? I'm not sure if that's the right word, but...
No, that's the word.
But maybe can we compete with a club that's fully focused on this player when we're not?
Exactly. Like I said, we can say the thing of we're both in the same competition. It's Arsenal. We're both in Europa League. But the fact of the matter is, and this is just us being deadly, well, I'm being deadly honest. I don't know if you guys agree. Let me know if you do. In my opinion, Arsenal are ahead of us in their development. Of course they are, because I've had a manager now for this will be his third season.
Yeah.
He's building his squad. It's his team. It's his team. I saw a thing that was Arteta's team 2 years ago versus what it is now. Almost unrecognisable. He's getting to that stage. And even just away from the manager situation, because we've got a new one, look at how far they are ahead of us in this window.
Yeah.
So I think the word is to compete with Arsenal. We're in the same pool of players as Arsenal, unfortunately, for certain elements. I think the Ten Hag situation with the De Jong one, that puts us in a different pool because of the relationship with the player really helped. I think we try and get De Jong without Ten Hag.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Making a mistake. If we didn't have Erik Ten Hag, we ain't signing him.
Unless we did get a Conte when we did in something. Do you know what I mean?
But then we would be signing players that Conte have worked with.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing at Spurs.
True, exactly. So the whole reason that it's Antony, it's Timber, it's Martinez, it's De Jong.
Don't you think that's wild as well? Actually, thinking about that. So you mentioned the Timber situation. Like, this just goes to show. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, why is he so desperate to go to Ajax? Why is he so desperate to pick those players off?" And again, it's really to speed up this bedding in process of his tactics, his style of play. He is so insistent on that. He goes for Timber, doesn't work out. So he literally just goes to the next centre-back at Ajax. He trusts that process so much that he just goes, Timber? No, okay, we'll go for centre-back partner.
Yeah. But there's two ways of looking at it. Because remember, I think we were speaking about it before. Like, is it worrying that he's only going after these type of players? Man United were never interested in them before. There's not a queue around the world for these types of players, although Arsenal are in for Martinez, to be fair. Is that a good or bad thing? And it depends how you look at it. I do see it as a fairly... Do you know what? Your principles are so strict. You want to have kind of little industry plants to spread across the team to instill your principles and as your first window.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Your first one's very important, especially if you're going to get the back in, which, touch wood, he does. But your first window is the one where you can imprint your style of play. You can get the other players to latch on. And the way that we've gone fought tooth and nail, it looks like, for Frenkie de Jong because of the impact he can have on the rest of them. Look at the boys talking about it yesterday. Frenkie can initiate your attacks. He can orchestrate your whole midfield. And then we forget about things like training and what it's like at the training intensity. If you've got Donny, if you've got Antony, if you've got Frenkie de Jong, let's say, my God, it could be Martinez. That could be 4 ex-players of Ten Hag as first-team starters as well, pretty much. Maybe bar Donny, you're not sure. That's a big impact in the group. Yeah. As straight first teamers.
Yeah, the hardest thing to do, and I think he probably looked at, say, Ralph Rangnick's tenure. He probably looked at a lot of tenures at United. The hardest thing to do with this group of players is to get them to buy in.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, you know what, I'll see if they'll buy in. They'll have to believe in it. He's buying people that have already bought in.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing, because he goes, that speeds up that process. I think so. I don't have a problem with going after the Ajax players as long as we get them. My concern is, like we were talking about yesterday, is that Ajax are in the position now where they're like, we'll still sell them, but for way more than we were going to.
We ain't getting to.
No, I don't think so. There's
that's
one.
The thing. It's Martinez or
Antony. That's it for me. Yeah, I agree.
Because at what point do they go, like the boys were saying yesterday, and we do forget this. One, we can't afford both because they're both 70 million each. And two, I just think it's a little bit... That's why I was a bit reluctant to go down it. I was like, this happens to Ajax every year. They're a selling club. Yes. But like they're saying, we've reached our quota now. We're all right.
Yeah, that's why I asked
Timber
him.
said no.
That's why I asked him. I said, when does... I know you love Ten Hag for what he did and achieved at Ajax, but when does resentment build?
Yeah.
Because you go, right, you took our manager, fine, but you took our assistant manager as well, but now you want to have 2 or 3 of our players. Like, let's not take the piss here. Roy Hodgson settings.
100%.
So, and I wouldn't blame him for that. Especially, let's not take the mick when it comes to late on in the window as well. We'll buy the players for a lot of money, but we won't give you any time to replace them as well. Of course you would be annoyed with that. And again, it kind of, from the outside looking in, you could say maybe it's arrogance from Manchester United as well.
Yeah.
We'll give you the money, you'll take it. I know you will.
And, naivety for not, working quicker earlier on the De Jong situation. But then when you unpick the De Jong situation, I'm not defending them, but sometimes you see the argument of, you can see why it's taken this long. Even Ajax was saying that. People didn't agree with him a lot. But, Semra Hunter was saying, Man United got the upper hand. People didn't agree with her that much. We've been so sick of it. I think our emotions are drained. But you can definitely see it. Because if we end up with a player, like you said, for 55 million by the end of the window, and it's been a good window, and the team looks all right, no one cares about the initial first 3 weeks. No. But we're still not there yet. So
it's way in the future, is it not?
DJ, big up DJ. DJ says, thanks for super chat, bro. Big up DJ. Can I just say, what a team play, like, DJ's part of the channel, and I'm actually being serious. DJ's part of the channel. He's a regular contributor. DJ's just sending a super chat, that's just. I think that just speaks volumes of just DJ as a person. Yeah. Like, honestly, that is just. Yeah. Oh, doesn't have to do that.
No.
I'll probably see his name pop up.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Just want to show love to DJ.
100%.
Because just when you're just really part of a team and you just want the team to
he was getting praised as well for his technical ability at Talker Social as well.
He was. So was I. You wasn't in the list.
I don't think
there was a list of people who looked like they passed the eye test.
Yeah, I wasn't on that list. And I would say
what? Who? Owen should be on the list. What? If Josh is saying that your technique looks alright then?
Yeah, I think the footage. Yeah, accuracy. The footage did not do me justice. Okay, people were saying I was being salty about this. Thank you, Josh, because I appreciate that. Because I was robbed. People were ganging up on me. I was eliminated by people ganging up. Disgrace.
All right, fair enough.
My distribution was on point. Cam can talk about distribution. He was hitting the wall.
Yeah, Cam was.
That's harder to do.
Cam was shocking. Cam really. Yeah, Faz was shocking as well. Yeah, it's funny with the most opinionated people.
Well,
are the shittest.
Compensating, you know what I mean?
DJ does say, he says, Frenkie de Jong and Eriksen added to this United midfield gives us much needed technical ability that we have been lacking in the middle of the park. 100% agree. Like, those two players together would be really good. And the real Ronaldo, thanks for the super chat, says, Flex, I implore you to look at South Korean player like Kim Min-jae. We on the West are blind at these cheap J-dropping players. Excuse the pun. I don't know who that is. I did, Google him. He's a centre back, South Korean. Don't really know much about him. He's made 30 appearances. Who's he played for?
Get KG to watch a comp.
Yeah, let's get KG on it. Plays in France. So, is it France? Stade. Yeah, I think it's France. Liga, yeah. Okay. No, they're the interesting clubs. That's not where he is now. I think he actually plays Fenerbahce, it says. Joined Fenerbahce. So, I don't know. I don't know a lot about him. So, enlighten us. I haven't heard of the player. Let's keep it moving. Just so that you guys know, at one point he had 1,800 people watching there. It went right up, and then it's gone down by 100. But we've still got 1,600 people watching. Share the video. Let's see if we can get back up to 1,800 people. It'd be good to get a record. If we can get a record up to like 2K for these morning shows.
I don't know if we've done that in the morning shows. No. Yeah.
So it did peak at like 1,800, which is good. Smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Simon Stone had a lot to say.
Yeah.
Let's get into Simon Stone, Ronaldo captaincy dispute as well.
Yes, so Simon Stone, in his Bruce Almighty settings, said that the Manchester United squad was split last season after a disagreement over the captaincy, with Cristiano Ronaldo at its core, which left Harry Maguire unhappy. Now, what is interesting about this, Flex, is that if you cast your mind back to last season and those reports at the time, do you remember when it was saying that certain people in the dressing room want Ronaldo to be the captain, and other people are saying stick with Harry Maguire, and that was largely sort of debunked at the time. They go, no, that's not true. Well, if Simon Stone's saying that,
yeah,
there might have been some fire to that smoke, as it were. I sound like Simon Stone.
I was just about to say, wait there. I was going to say, right, Si,
I was coming over
Flex,
me.
There's been a lot made of that.
Flex.
How do you?
When it comes to the armband, where do you think that? What arm do you think that's going to go on?
Oh, mate. Ronaldo captaincy dispute. I mean, it was interesting reading that. And like you say, people like Simon Stone don't come to the table.
No.
Unless they've got genuine stuff from genuine sources. Because people accuse them of being slow or stuff like that. But the reason why they are like that is they don't just jump on things.
Yeah.
They're well informed domestically.
Mm-hmm.
Well informed. Whether we believe it or not is up to them. But it would have come from a real person at the club. And hearing that, Ronaldo was at the core of that captaincy debate. Players were unhappy, which left Maguire, I think it was unsettled, or was it left Maguire unhappy? Unhappy. It just goes to show that, we know the reports that were coming out of the change room last year stunk, and we didn't want to use it to give the players a free pass. But it was a ridiculously toxic place to be. Richard Arnold in the secret video at the pub was saying it was horrible. Didn't want to go to games. These lads' confidence on we know that. If we've all spoke to someone, or we can see general consensus online that is the situation happening at the club. But I think if we take that and look at it going into this season, as Ten Hag arrives back for pre-season, that captaincy thing, mate, that's
what I was going to say, because if say, we know he had the phone conversation with Ralph Rangnick, and we'll talk about that in a second, but he would have spoken to people within the club, and they would have said last season, look, obviously the dressing room was a mess, and it was really bad, and it was really toxic, all this kind of stuff. And one of the issues was the captaincy. Not to use the pun here, but it's a bold decision. Ten Hag bold, get it? Yeah. It's a bold decision.
I was gonna let it just slide.
Well, a bold.
I know you wanted to praise for it. Well done, Owen. That was good.
Come on. It would be a bold decision to keep it on him at this point. Because that feels like, just straight out of the gate, a very polarizing decision. When you're coming through the door and there's so much to do, quick wins. Give the captaincy to Ronaldo.
Yeah, especially when this Ronaldo thing's real.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say as well, because people are going to say, like, the Ronaldo stuff, paper talk, and I know United have come out and said he's not for sale. Well, there was links to Bayern, there was links to Chelsea, there's links about him not being happy with the transfer market. There is something there.
I think he wants to give United to kick up the arse.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's him going, look, do something. Or it's the beginning stages of, like with Juventus last year, of going, you know what? Say, because I said this when I did the video the other day, those discussions of Mendes takes meetings all the time. He's got loads of players. But Ronaldo doesn't get brought up in those meetings without Ronaldo going, ask. Just see. Because if something does come up that's real, and I don't expect it to come up that's real, because I know I'm on a lot of money and United are in the place that they're in, everyone else is doing their business. But if something comes up, I'll think about it, because guess what? I'm pretty pissed off with how things are going.
Bayern said no.
Exactly. I'm not.
Won't be us.
Exactly. But I would think that he's just, he's grumbling a little bit. And I don't blame him. I really don't. People compared it to Rooney with Sir Alex back in the day. If Ronaldo at the moment is just questioning the club. He's questioning the club. What are you doing?
There's a guy called KG in the comments, and there's a burner account in there. It's definitely him. A guy called KG, he said Ronaldo could leave. You laughed at me.
Yeah, but the reason why is because KG was doing it off no reports, off no opinions. KG was looking at Ronaldo, waving to the crowd at the end of the season, going like this and going, he's leaving, he's gone. Why? Did you see that kind of wave? There's many different waves. He became a body language expert at the time.
And Marlon Clark says, KG, you said he will definitely leave. And he also said, Ronaldo, stay. Conference League. Nah, mate, he's gone. Ronaldo's gone. That's what you were doing, which is a big difference. You're telling
people, kids, go into William Hill or other betting places. 100%. You spend all your money. I told you, it's spaghetti analysis. Throw it at the wall, see what sticks.
So hold that, KG. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah. I talked about bold moves. I don't need to go there. Okay.
Oh, see that. See, that's just where Owen takes it. But yeah, back. Let me get the super chat out quickly. Actually, the real Ronaldo says I decided to let Maggie have it after he begged. And the real Ronaldo says we get in players that make sure us slightly better. when we don't have a defence. Right back is a position that doesn't exist at our club. What are we doing? The real Ronaldo is basically angry, basically saying we need a right back as well. I said that was really poor. Big up DJ as well. DJ says Ahmad plus 40 million for Antony. I mean, that would be the most Man United thing, because think about it, how much money we've spent on Ahmad.
Well, and also as well, we were saying this to the Ajax guys yesterday, weren't they? Of like, it's almost slightly disrespectful, isn't it? Going, you'll take this player that we don't really want. Yeah. And they're like, no, we want good players too. It's not saying Ahmad isn't a good player, but it's kind of like, no. Like, we were joking about it yesterday, with like the Brandon Williams thing. You'll take Brandon Williams, won't you? No.
I've seen you, mate. You said he's crap. What, like, don't try and fob him off to me.
Who do you think we are?
You got your Ajax top on. Isn't it going to work?
Yeah, exactly.
So from that side of it, you can see the situation with just back to what we were talking about, the Ronaldo situation becoming more intense. And I do think we're in line for a captaincy change.
I think so.
Which would be a bold statement, because also keeping Maguire as the captain is an even bigger statement.
I just can't see it at this point.
Can you not see it?
There's
too much news
there's just too much. I would be really surprised at this point. And I know people will say, but he said some nice things about Maguire in the press conference. Of course he was going to. He's not going to go in there and just be like, he's rubbish.
He's definitely been told we can't sell him.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm not sure he even wants to sell him at this point. I don't think he does. But again, quick wins. I just Ronaldo, and to be honest as well, that short list of people who we were saying are captains isn't that big anyway. So before, I would have been one of those people that said, I'll maybe give it to Bruno. I think it's way off that list now. I don't want to see Bruno Fernandes as the captain.
Do you not?
Like last season, I just saw some performances or the best way to describe it is just some of his mannerisms, some of the way he was acting on the pitch. I think giving him the captaincy makes him worse, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. And I think
he doesn't need an excuse to go up to referees.
Yeah, exactly.
If you open that
like
door,
a second captain if
you open that door and he's allowed to speak to referees,
yeah, I agree.
Don't need it.
And with the Ronaldo situation, I know he has that petulance as well. He has that arms up. He has that flipping out. What's this? But you can excuse it when it's Ronaldo. One, because he's one of the GOATs of the game, and two, he's delivering, scoring goals.
Yeah.
Even with us being that shit, he's got a lot more mileage to behave in that way than Bruno does, in my opinion. Yeah, I just feel like Bruno just, and I've changed my opinion, because I remember at the time saying, "Nah, Ronaldo can't have it." I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
remember saying that as well.
I was the same, but
I think I've arrived at this now.
Bruno's the person as well who will kick it out of play and then have a go at the person going, "What are you doing?" Well, you kicked it out of play, mate.
Does it all the time.
When he did the short corner or whatever.
Yeah, I'll be interesting to. It'd be interesting to see if anything changes with player-specific behaviour on the pitch.
Of like, Ten Hag won't take that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know you can't change people imminently. No. You can't, like, overall, it's hard to change a 27-year-old or whatever Bruno is. And you sometimes you don't want to take that bite out of someone's game. I'm not saying that, but would we see it tamed back a little bit? I don't know. Would we see us just more organised so there's less need for Bruno to do that? I don't know, but I got a feeling though he'll just always be like that. I don't think you can change that.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can. It's difficult to change that. And again, that's the point that people are concerned about just by the playing style of Bruno, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of being able to keep the ball, not rush all the time, not play the passes like it's the 85th minute. There are going to be portions of the game under Ten Hag where it's like, hopefully we keep the ball for 5 minutes and wait for that space to open. Bruno doesn't do that. He doesn't. So even that's an adjustment to him. And it's going to be fascinating to see if he can do that. Technically, I think he's capable, but mentality is much harder to change. Yeah. And I would hope that he does.
Smash a like on the video, guys. If you guys are new to the channel and haven't subscribed to the channel as well, make sure you guys do that. We got over 1,700 people watching and not 500 likes.
Oh, dear.
Disgraceful settings. You lot know what to do. Get them likes up. Can we get it up to 500, please, while we are live on this stream? That is all we ask for, a minimum of 500 likes while we're live. We will keep raising that bar. The more, the transfer view grows and people keep coming to the show and enjoying it, we'll see as numbers go up. The expectancy level will go up. You know what I mean? The demands will go up. But right now, I feel like 500 is a fair number to ask for out of nearly 1,800 people watching.
We're doing our own negotiations at the moment.
It should be 1,000 likes.
This is fair. This is fair.
Yeah, because really, that means there's another 1,000 people who are listening to us saying this, saying, "Can't we bother to press it?" Not pressing it, because there is 1,700 people. So if you can, please do so, peeps. That would be really appreciated. And there's a super chat here before we move on from the real Ronaldo again, saying, "As you know, I played with Bruno as fellow Portugal player. He thinks he's better than he actually is and shows it on the pitch. Don't tell him I said this." Thanks, Ronaldo, for giving us the inside scoop.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you know what I'm saying?
He might see that, though.
He might.
That's quite public.
He might. Big up Buddha87 for the contribution as well. Thank you for that. Really appreciate that. And on more on what Simon Stone was saying, he went on to talk about Ralph Rangnick.
This is the really juicy stuff we're getting into right now, because he has said that Ralph Rangnick's much lauded arrival dissolved to such an extent that he was barely on speaking terms with the man that hired him, that being football director John Murtough. For his part, Rangnick didn't feel he got the support he needed, and too many players failed to take responsibility for their own performance. It continues. Rangnick's forthright observations in press conferences may have gone down well with the media present and fans, but Murtough didn't feel it was the right forum to express them and was concerned that no attempt was made to protect Manchester United's reputation. Now, when you hear a story like that, Flex, you know the reaction that's going to get. That is very damning stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because people that may have already had opinions on the exit of Ralph Rangnick or Ralph Rangnick's tenure or his last few days at United, of a guy that was really on an island of himself against the club, against the owners, against the executives, the directors, against the players as well, that kind of ties into that one. It's a difficult one to say because, and I probably will get criticised for this, I can see both sides of the argument here. I think that Ralph Rangnick, because we've all said it in these press conferences, that it was great how transparent it was. It was great that he shined a light on areas that people didn't like talking about at the club. It was great that he was saying that players weren't taking responsibility. It was great saying that we needed open heart surgery and 10 players, because he's right. Ultimately, he is right. From the other perspective, I can understand it from senior figures at the club going, Why are you saying that in public? But I guess in defense of Rangnick, he would say, because if I don't say it, nobody will. And you don't want to say it. And you don't. And yeah, I'm embarrassing you, but you should be embarrassed because it's an embarrassing situation. But from Murtough's perspective, they're like, well, we're doing our best. But the issue is that the best hasn't been good enough.
They don't want it in public, innit?
Yeah.
They don't want to be embarrassed any further than they have been.
Than they have been already. But
you don't get to do that. You
can't have that privilege, unfortunately, is it? That's the issue, is that you can't ask for that privilege when collectively everyone's not doing their job to the best of their abilities. You have to be humbled. Agreed.
I did have my and people said I was wrong. A lot of people disagreed with me, and I even said on Twitter, I said, maybe I've got this wrong then, but because I was saying, look, I just think Ten Hag's come in, said he didn't want Ralph, as well as wanted to distance himself from, how the fallout of how the players didn't like him and just didn't want him around anymore. A lot of people said to me, Flex, don't fall for it. The Glazers and stuff and people who make the decisions at the club who've got nice jobs, have all been, changed around and got new positions. They're the people that have told Ten Hag before he's even come, we're getting rid of him. And and now we're seeing basically that backs up those people's point.
Yeah.
Really. So I must have been wrong on that. I don't know how much Ten Hag actually had saying that, because really, if you think about it from the press conference, because he said that's on the club, he was told when they ask about Ralph, don't entertain because we're getting rid of him already. Maybe there was something in that then.
Yeah, or maybe it's a case of, the club clearly weren't happy with Ralph for a variety of reasons. And then when Ten Hag goes, I could take or leave him, to be honest, they go, good.
Yeah.
If you were going to really fight for him to stay, then probably...
But don't you think they would have, Karen being how she is, I know, she does really well at her job. I feel like they would have sat down and discussed the strategy. Well, that wouldn't have been Karen's decision, but the people like John Murtough would have said, right, this is the line we're going to take if they ask you about Ralph. Surely there must have been a discussion.
The mind was clearly made up by that point.
I mean, before he got there,
the mind was made up. Let's face it. When he took another job, you don't take that international job. I know it's not, it's time consuming, and I know people would try and lead you to believe, oh, it was only because actually the Austria job was bigger than people thought. No, it wasn't. It was just he took that job because he probably saw the writing on the wall, and he thought, I'm out of here, and he clearly wasn't happy for a variety of reasons. Again, not just the directors and the owners at the club. It's probably a big part of it, but also the players. I don't want to be here around these people anymore, And when it comes to John Murtough, I suppose as well, look, he was Murtaugh's first big appointment, and let's face it, it failed spectacularly.
Absolutely.
And not necessarily to say that's completely on Ralph, because it's not, but it failed spectacularly on Murtough in the sense of he wasn't talking to him.
Yeah.
At the end
the relationship
of it,
broke down.
Oh, 6 months, Flex.
Exactly.
6 months, and they weren't talking.
Yeah, and back onto Ralph, just quickly, I feel like good on him. I feel like it's a bit Love Islandish. Like, he's gonna go in there. I don't know how long I'm there for. Stay true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Speak your mind. Say how you feel, and the public decide.
Yeah.
And then he got voted out. But he was true to himself the whole way. He didn't change. And actually, when it got towards the end, when he probably knew they're not listening to me. January's already passed and they didn't listen to me. Already pissed off.
Yeah.
I can see what a calamity this is. I'm just going to get looser with my lips the closer it gets to the end of the season, and that's what happened. And yes, I get it.
What you can do, fire me. I've got 2 years left.
Do you know what I mean? Exactly. So he did a Love Island. He stayed true to himself. He backed himself and didn't change. Essentially, that's actually what got him sacked at Man United, or mutually, whatever you want to call it. Let's just call it sacking. That's what got him moved out of his position, because actually he was so refreshing, he was so to the point, he was so honest that they found it too honest. Now, yeah, from a brand perspective, if you're trying to, as they see it, you're trying to rebuild Manchester United, you don't want the fans getting riled up online. You don't want the media, because we all loved it. We all said, this is what we need to hear. So we're happy it's happened. Even though he wasn't here for a long time, he was here for a good time, and it's happened. And we can kind of have our reservations about him not being around anymore. I get it. But for me, Ralph laid out exactly what he wanted to do. They probably maybe, I think they agreed with what he was saying, but didn't agree with the way that he was saying it. And then once the players, which I don't think they should have taken the side of players, we've seen that happen, but players I think would have been complaining, he's thrown us under the bus, they were doing the crybaby thing, and then Murtough and them just acted and protected themselves, which is what always happens. So hopefully Ten Hag doesn't fall into that and can be as assertive as we know he can be and needs to be. Because if that shit starts happening, I really hope we don't, because it can happen at Man United. Even if it's lies, we have to be prepared for this as Man United fans. In the media, we're hated, adored, never ignored. If after a few bad results and stuff, it could be players have been really surprised at how rigorous training is, and they think it's too much this. Or
We've been spending too much time doing passing drills.
Do you know what I mean? I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope that results are good enough for that not to happen. But at some point, we have to be ready for that as Man United fans. And I just hope that doesn't happen to Ten Hag.
Also, as well, you have to look at it like this was everyone involved. No one was willing to take responsibility. Nobody. Because if you look at the players are going, it's not us, it's the manager. Yeah. It's the dressing room, it's other players, it's not me. You've got Ralph who's going, right, look, I can't do anything. These players are rubbish. This board doesn't back me. I can't do anything. You've got the board going, actually, it's Ralph's fault. Ralph should be managing these players better, or some of these players will wait till next season to get rid of. No one's willing to take responsibility for saying that collectively we weren't doing our job properly. And again, it became one massive infighting mess. That's this giant football club. And when you really take a step back, and maybe it's because we're so far deep into this and we're used to the soap opera every single day. When you do take a step back, because this happened to me a couple of times last season, take a step back and you go, this is crazy.
Yeah.
What's going? This is a football club that was massively successful.
And 75% of it is true.
Yeah,
true.
Maybe
80.
Yeah, all of this kind of stuff, and that is absolutely insane. And it does make you, not to be pessimistic, but it does make you concerned about the season ahead, because as Simon Stone says in his piece, the streams are out there when we did them. We were optimistic about Rangnick coming in.
Yeah.
And excited.
Yeah, everyone was.
Look how badly that went.
Yeah, exactly. I saw some Man United fans, and I know some personally, they said, but even when he came in, he said, don't buy. They said to me, and I know I don't fully agree with this, but they were saying, don't buy into this Ralf Rangnick hype. He's been a sporting director at Moscow. Yeah, he done well at Leipzig, but he's coming in to be a manager. He's a crap manager. He ain't done anything. And essentially, the management side of it, I think that's a really superficial way to look at it because there was so much wrong. But if you look at his managerial reputation, hasn't gone up from coming into Man United. Then we're just frustrated that when he got the chance to get the job that actually is what he's known for, see you later.
Yeah, and then even when he was the manager, he doesn't really have his proper backroom staff in there. No. He's got a guy on the phone in Moscow doing it for free. Like, oh my...
It was mental. It just couldn't have lasted like that. Let me get the super chats out before we move on and wrap up the show. Aloha from Liam. I like this question. It says, who are we hoping is the most improved player? Hold that thought. You've got better memory than me. We're going to answer that before we're out. That's a really good question, Liam. The real Ronaldo says, he won't see this. He can't read English. Bruno won't see it. And super chat here from Dara says, deal for exchange of Maguire as part of Frenkie de Jong deal fell through. Barca informed United we already have a fridge. And that was nonsense. Surely there was no way Barca wanted Maguire as part of that deal.
Can you imagine a club that is struggling financially, and yes, they're going to be signing all these players, and yes, they've got these ambitions to sign Lewandowski, Koundé, Azpilicueta, blah blah blah. They go, we've also got to sell Frenkie de Jong because we need to make room to bring in Harry Maguire's wages.
Yeah, we'll leave that there. WJ Barrett says, I wanted... that was perfectly put. WJ Barrett, thanks for Tube Chat, bro, says, I wanted Ralf Rangnick, but with his public slaying of the players was wrong. But although we enjoyed how brutal he was wrong. He talked about becoming United manager openly. He changed the plan and effed himself. WJ Barrett always has that alternative view. Excuse the pun. And, always is quite positive as well, but saying he wanted Ralf, but thinks Ralf effed it for himself. I think we're good. Oh no, there's a super chat here from the real Ronaldo again. Says Jose Mourinho was the start of social cancer, and I think there was another one I've missed. No, there isn't. We're up to date on that. I'm still at about 1,800 people watching. See if we can get over 600 likes, please. That would be fantastic. And to finish off, and we'll take that question about who we want to be most improved player as well. Players are back, though.
Yes.
Pre-season begins.
Pre-season has begun today. We've seen all the pictures of Erik ten Hag arriving. We've seen the pictures of Steve McLaren arrive. McLaren's back. Does he drive a McLaren? Can you imagine? Figure that. So, yes, people like David De Gea, Dean Henderson, Tom Heaton, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Bailly, Jones, Twansabi, Williams, Shaw, Donny, Ahmad, Sancho, Martial and Rashford are all expected to be at Carrington today for pre-season. Henderson, of course, might not actually even be showing up.
Sorry, just quickly, Carrington's trending on Twitter. Just because all the reports would be mentioning Carrington people.
The Manchester United players who featured in the June international fixtures are due to start pre-season training next Monday. So people like Ronaldo, people like Bruno, etc. Club sources say some returns will be staggered, so it might even be later than that. But yes, pre-season has begun. Erik ten Hag was driven into Carrington. This is how detailed these reports are. Erik ten Hag was driven into Carrington at 8 a.m., 2 hours before Manchester United's non-internationals are due to report. Flex. Look, I was saying this earlier on, and it isn't me being grouchy because it's early in the morning or anything like that, but I get it. Start of a new era, beginning of pre-season. It's a significant moment, I suppose. But like those kind of reports where it's like Ten Hag showed up 2 hours before training started.
To do his job.
Yeah.
Basically, Ten Hag turned up to work for his first day.
It would be a story if it was Ten Hag's first day at work and he was well late. Yeah. He was there at 2:00 in the afternoon. I couldn't believe it. Then you would go, oh, that is significant.
Yeah.
But,
or he rocked up in his Ajax kit or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But, I guess it's a significant moment and it's the beginning of pre-season officially. Depending on how you want to look at it as well, you could say it's the beginning of pre-season and Flex, there's no new players there. Yeah. That's a problem. Yeah. You could look at it as, is this the beginning of the rebuild at Manchester United officially?
I'm gonna encourage. You know what? I think you've watched the whole show and seen our shows. We're not shying away from what's going on. Living with rose-tinted glasses on. I know, obviously, there was that bit where me and Owen were quite calm about things, but I think that's just us as two individuals, like how we are. But you can clearly see we gave both sides to it, and we weren't that calm. Loads of twitching, and we're still not. So that expired. But I think I want to urge people to kind of try and remember the positives of Erik ten Hag, because I was saying it yesterday, because of the lack of signings and the slow start to the transfer window, we've been feeling down, and we're forgetting we've got a flipping good manager here, like an exciting manager, one that when we got him, or when the murmurs were shifting away from Pochettino, and the majority of the fan base were getting what we wanted in this manager. That's where we're at now. That's run out, and this is a progressive manager. This is a manager who is tactically supposed to be fantastic, can improve players. And actually, if you think about them lads going back, how big is this for Marcus Rashford, by the way? Oh. Like, now we're getting into that thing of, I know we're in transfer window, but I think we can always get wrapped up in, we need these players and the rumours and the jarring stuff that happens online day in, day out, hour by hour on Twitter. 100% agree, we need players. But if we park that for a bit, because the manager is actually back now and working with these players like Rashford, sure. Sancho, I know he's only his first season, but it's massive.
Yeah.
Who else is back today with him?
Well, people like De Gea.
Varane.
De Gea's there.
De Gea's there. This is the first chance he's going to start getting to see what kind of... This is massive. Mm-hmm. And this should be exciting to see how these players come out the other end of working with him. And I know it's only the first day. They'll just have some conversations and some light session. I'm not saying it's all going to be done now, but actually, as United fans, we should try to find a little bit in us, although it's difficult, because I'm trying to do it. I'm with you guys. Let's try and find a little bit that reminds us that, you know what, it can't all be negative. The negativity is there because of we need players. 100% agree with you, and I'm right there with you. But let's remember that Ten Hag now is going to start working with these players, and now this is going to be which is where it starts.
Yeah, and as I said the other day, I hope now that those decisions that can't really be made when people are on holiday, they should hopefully speed up very quickly. So we're talking about captaincy.
Yeah,
he's going to be talking to people now. I know Maguire's not back into training until next week, but he's going to be having these discussions actively. Like, the work starts now.
Abab, y'all need to stop with these Rashford expectations. Abab, big up Abab. She's always in the chat.
Yeah.
She's always against Rashford as well. Not against him, but I feel like she's just got to a point where she's like, I'm just done. And a lot of people have.
I've had that conversation about a lot of players as well. Like, I said it with Pogba, Martial as well. When you go, can they get back, or can they? What I mean? And I do think it's fair. I say, look, with the transfer window, the same with players. Everyone's got their different thresholds when they just go, enough's enough. I'm tired of it.
Well, this fund could apply to Rashford now, whenever.
It can apply to a lot of players.
Yeah, exactly.
So
WJ Barrett says, let's trust the process and all remain positive. That is in true WJ feeling. That is to WJ style is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Somebody there from the comment section said, where is it? Oh, there you go. Horseface says, Flex, Rashford ain't good. A lot of people just feel like that. He ain't going to do anything. So, again, be interested to see that.
Does that tie nicely into the most improved player?
There you go.
Who do you think's the most improved player?
Let's finish on that.
I dare you say Rashford.
What's the question? Who do we want to be, or who do we think's going to be? Let me go back, actually, because I want to...
It might have been think.
Here you go. Who are we hoping is the most improved player? I'm hoping it's Rashford, then. No? Or are we hoping it's actually Maguire? Because... it's been so bad. It's hard to choose, because if you think about it, you're hoping Rashford gets back to being good. He can't, because if he's not, we've got to get rid.
Yeah.
But if it's Maguire, we spent £85 million. He's been the captain. We want some return.
There's so many, isn't there?
There's
really.
So many. Do you want Scott McTominay to be?
Well, you want Donny to be most improved as well? You know what I mean? You want.
You can't choose one.
Yeah, you do want all of them to be improved in some form of fashion, really, don't you?
But okay, let me just give you to finish your most improved. You guys, this is a good question. Put it in the chat. Thanks, Liam, for doing this. Put it in the chat. Give me the one player who you want to be the most improved. We've got Sancho coming in. I'd say Fred says Marlon Clark. Sancho to do bits says A-Bub. A lot of people going with Sancho.
It's more about thinking who's so important to the team that if they do really well, we're going to do really well.
That's a good bit.
That's the key aspect of it. Like, no disrespect to Donny, but if Donny does well or Donny does badly, I'm not sure how much that really affects us this season, positively or negatively. Obviously, if he's doing well, it helps us. But I'm thinking of, you might say someone like a defender.
Yeah, Liam says, who actually asked the question, Maguire to be a Vidic regen. Divas says Ronaldo. WJ Barrett says Rashford. Van de Beek. We've got Martial, Sancho, Telles.
I might hope Sancho, because he could be a game changer.
Yeah.
He really could be a game changer.
But I feel because it was only his first season, I don't think he's in that I know he does need to kick on, needs to have a good season, but I feel like he'll just be okay because
we saw glimpses last season of Sancho where
I'm going to go Maguire.
Well, you would hope he would be the most improved.
Yeah, because
that is important.
But Rashford's been so bad. But the reason why I don't want to say Maguire is because I just don't ever think he's going to be that good.
Can you say Varane improves in terms of play games?
Yeah. Yeah,
I hope his fitness improves.
I hope he plays more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Rashford and Maguire, but Rashford was so bad.
Yeah, who could have the biggest influence on the team if they were playing really well?
They both have equal influence. If they're at the top of their game playing amazingly well, we're getting like defensive shutouts and being really commanding. If Maguire
have we ever seen that from Maguire at Man United?
It's got to be Rashford, isn't it? It's got to be Rashford. Rashford to the point where he weren't even playing games.
Yeah.
Couldn't even play games.
It wasn't even a point of having him in the team.
Do you know what I mean? Like we were actually saying, damn right, he can't
Or
play.
if you brought him on, it was actually just out of hope.
It was null and void.
It was just like, no.
There you go. I'm going to go Rashford.
I'll go with Rashford as well. Yeah, I agree with you. I would say Maguire, but I just don't even think that's possible. I do think we have to live in some form of reality.
Yeah, true. There you go. Guys, thanks for watching. Wicked show. We had nearly 2,000 people watching live, which was fantastic for the morning shows as we continue to grow. Flexing KG show coming at you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. as per usual. And we've got another video today that I think you guys are really going to enjoy as well. 100%. Watch this space. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and remember you can join the UV Members Club as well. Links in the video description below. We're out of here. Peace.